Alrighty, so week 3 or day 3, same thing in our class. And I had posted just some topics, and now I'm actually going to do the follow-up video to give you a little more detail about what you need to be thinking of in week 3. Okay, so some of this, reminder about const and let and stop using var. Again, actually I put this here, and I'm going to show you specifically in a minute about discount of points if you don't do the commit after each lecture, because honestly that's the way I know if you've done them. And really this is, it really is to your benefit to write this code, so I don't know how else to encourage it. Again, this hasn't been a major problem. And then I've already talked about Dev 1, and actually just a heads up for when we get to day 3, because I've done this video before we're on day 3, we're actually going to have an in-class discussion in more detail about the timing, and I'll show you the timing I've set, but I'm open to a discussion of students in class here, but I'll show you what I mean about the timing. Okay, so getting back here, and by the way, like before, this will open up as soon as class starts that night and end when class ends. Okay, so for week 3, day 3, I've given you a firmer number now on what not doing those commits look like. So make sure you get that part done. Okay, and this section is really great because there's some of it, by the way, that's not necessarily code, but it teaches you how to debug. And I actually think I will do a follow-up video, because since that, and I'm speaking now of one specific part of this sequence, but there's been a lot of great progression on doing debugging in VS Code. And debugging is one of those skills you really want to learn, because trying to find bugs in your code without actually seeing what the code's doing is a challenge in and of itself. So anyway, look for that soon, maybe next week. Alright, so in our Learn Together day 3, I'm going to mention this, I've added a section. Okay, I still I do want you to go through and refine your description. And then on the user input section, I want you to give examples of the input type, and we talked about this in class, basically what that command line is going to look like, right? So if you're wondering what I mean by this, let me see, do I have my editor up here? I do. So when you're running the code in the Notes app where you're actually running, let me clear this real quick. So this is where you're running node, right, app.js, you're doing an add, right, title. Now this is for the notes, of course, right? This is what I want you to show me with the output, right? So whatever your command line is, and keep in mind here that I want 3 different types of input. And you could do more, that's fine. But 3 different commands that you use. And also I would tell you here, there we go, is you could have more data too. I do, and I actually think you kind of have to, but I'm not gonna state that in the requirements. It seems to me this is part of what you will figure out too. And again, I'm here to help you walk through and think about this program that you're going to do. But I just wanted to give you an example of what I want you to do, or what I want you to provide this week. And so, like in the notes, where did I get rid of it? I must have been playing around and got rid of my data file. Because the other thing I want you to do is to add a section with your data format, right? So your JSON, what that's going to look like. And really what these 2 steps make you do is really think through this process, okay? They really make you go, okay, for the app idea that I have, how am I going to get input? What's that going to look like? And then how am I going to store that? Because thinking through those should save you some headache when you actually go to do it, right? Okay, so again, my hope is that this Learn Together work gives you a chance to do some thinking, or a thinking period about this work. Alright, so here's the other thing I've done is on Dev 4, which is next week, right? So this will be week 4, day 4. I've provided, in addition to the draft of this here, right, is that the timing, right? So of course you can look through these, ask me any questions about it. But this is what in our day 3 class discussion we're going to discuss in a little more detail, because you all need to do a code review with me, okay? And this code review, and I've given you specifics like as far as when. And so all code reviews need to be done, and I'm going to actually make this 8:30, I think, instead of 8, on Wednesday the 6th, right? So what I've done here, and this is where you can reserve your day and time, because I do have a couple of you online, right, if you're going to do Hangouts or whatever. But what you can do is come in here and put your name down for when you plan on reserving. And we could actually start the prior week, but I think a few people will come see me on Monday and then Tuesday, and these are my office hours. But again, if you want to do remote, that's totally okay with me. Just have to tell me here so I make sure we do some setup. So these are my office hours on Monday and Tuesday, and of course the bulk of this will come on Wednesday, starting at 5 in my office hour and BE 120, all the way until we're actually in the classroom in here. So what you can do, right, is reserve your time. But after this time, and this is when the item's going to be due. If you're in and you have minor stuff you're just fixing, I'll work with you, and this is the conversation I want to have with the students in class next week about this. So I just want to give you the heads up about that. Okay? So, but I think that's it. I think actually we're ready to move this out of draft mode at this place. All right. So the thing I will also do, because there may be somebody wanting to do this, is I actually start looking at the code ups for the next series, because we have another 2 weeks and then another app due. Okay. Oh, one other thing I will show here, and I'll put it in the write-up, is where you're going to put your code here is in your private, create a directory called dev, and then create a dev1 directory, and then that's where you'll put your code. As you can see, I actually already have my code in here. I'm pretty close. I have some refactoring I want to do. I've got and this is my blockchain data. So this is my sender receiver. Right, so in this case, a 0 sender is a opening balance, and then these are opening balances, and then the sender and the receiver and the amounts. And what my code does is actually make sure before a transaction is done, because that's one of my most important commands, is my transactions. On my transactions, that's a new one, so that's opening balance. And then on my transactions, I have to definitely do some things like make sure there's an opening balance. Make sure if there is an opening balance that there is also a current balance to be able to support that transaction. So anyway, I'll go over this in more detail and probably cover this more in class for anybody interested in seeing what I did for this particular dev. Okay? All right, have a great week, and I will see you Wednesday or before if you need more help.